Cities and towns across Oklahoma understand the importance of unity.
Partnerships with the tribes and the communities are nothing new. We have compacts, cooperative agreements, police, social services. We work together every day with local governments.
The impact of the tribe on our community is huge. Obviously, they're involved in infrastructure, which is a big problem for most communities. Can't say enough good things about the Cherokee Nation and what they've done to help us. For instance, they funded a project that took a potable water line from the south end of our sailboat bridge to the other section of Interstate 59. They included in that a potable water line as well as a sanitary sewer line. They funded the entire project, the design, the construction, and the installation of that project.
The tribes make huge investments into our community. Education, healthcare, you name it, the list goes on and on. Without the tribes, Adair County would be in a much different condition than what it is now. Healthcare, education, recently they've expanded Wi-Fi locations. They're putting hotspots in at community buildings, churches, assisting the schools through this pandemic. Without them, we're looking at no education, no healthcare. Everything that the tribe does essentially helps non-citizens. Roads, broadband infrastructure, the list goes on and on. Recently in the city of Stillwell, they're actually giving vaccinations and they don't care where you live. They don't care if you're a tribal member or not. I know that Cherokee Nation is working extremely hard to get the word out.
The new medical school, give you one example of the impact of that. So the tribe now is going to fill a need that our communities, and especially in rural areas of Oklahoma, have had for some time, a shortage of doctors. We're going to develop our own doctors in the area. And as I understand it, a doctor usually stays within 100 miles of where they're educated and where they go through their training. So just that alone is significant. My understanding is that there are some communities who are actually having to close their facilities because they don't have any staffing, they don't have funding. We've been blessed to have the Cherokee Nation impact us with people who are trained, and obviously the school in Tahlequah, that's going to be something I don't think you can measure the importance of that.
What we're seeing from the tribes today is an investment back in those communities. They're putting money into police and fire, so there's protection for our families. They're putting in money into water and sewer infrastructure so that we can serve those communities, and also helps us bring industries to the community because we can serve with that type of infrastructure. They're putting money into parks, into the quality of life.
During our water plant construction, the Choctaw Nation came to us and said that they had been successful in obtaining a $400,000 grant to assist us with our water system. The Choctaw Nation has built over 25 new homes in Stigler over the past 3 years. What I like about it is when you pick up the phone and you call someone or you send them an email and you ask them for something, 99% of the time the answer is yes, we can help.
Ardmore is located within the Chickasaw Nation, and we consider the Chickasaws to be great partners in everything that we do. From issues that address quality of life, such as activities within our community, the health and wellness aspects they bring to our community, the education assets they bring, early childhood offerings, to those things that very definitely impact economic development, such as infrastructure and job creation and training.
If it wasn't for the tribes, the city of Anadarko today would be in a much different position. We're actually making progress today. There's investments made in our water and sewer system that should have been made 20 years ago. We're making investments in our electrical grid that should have been made 30 years ago. We've been making improvements in our roads throughout the city, some that haven't been touched since they were put in.
If we get a phone call about a situation, whether it be a local community that's having issues with water, we mobilize, we have water on hand, we're taking water to them, but we're going to try to figure out a way to fix the water line and not just try to band-aid a situation. Chief Hoskin has a way of saying, you know, there's communities out there that maybe the world's forgot or never knew, but the Cherokee Nation knows them and will never forget them and will always help them stand up. I think that's the sense of pride that I take.
Several tribes have been very supportive philanthropically to the zoo. The Joan Kirkpatrick Animal Hospital, our state-of-the-art veterinary hospital that opened a few years ago, was supported by the Chickasaw Nation, and that allows us to provide world-class animal health care to our animals, whether it's business relationships, vital components to your workforce, community partnerships on mission programs and things like that, as well as the philanthropy that a lot of the tribes do, really support everything else. Nobody stands alone anymore, and I think this is a key example of that.
We have in this state all this diversity that we've had for over 100 years living together. We have our various languages, we have our various cultures, and we found a way to live together and respect each other's ways. That is vibrant, and that's what makes growth.
Oklahoma thrives together.